I followed a strange light in the forest and heard a voice saying, "You shouldn't have followed," 50 feet ahead of me. I took a step closer, and just as I did, it started moving again. But this time it was moving faster, almost as if it was trying to keep ahead of me, as if it knew I was following it. Then, suddenly, it vanished, just disappeared. I stood there, completely still, staring at the spot where the light had been moments ago. I waited a few minutes, thinking maybe it had just moved on, but nothing happened. The forest felt wrong. The air was thick with silence, like the woods were holding their breath. I turned around to head back, and that's when I realized I had no idea which direction I'd come from. The trees all looked the same. I tried to retrace my steps, but it felt like the forest was shifting. The path I thought I had walked down didn't seem to exist anymore. The trees looked different. The shadows stretched unnaturally. I started to panic. I knew I had to get out of there before it got any worse. As I hurried along, hoping to find a familiar trail, I saw the light again. It was far off, just barely visible between the trees. But this time it wasn't moving. It was just staring at me, like it was waiting. I froze. My heart was pounding in my chest. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up. I took one step forward, and the light blinked out of existence. That's when I heard it. A voice, barely a whisper, but it sounded like it was right next to me. "You shouldn't have followed." I didn't stick around to find out what that meant. I ran through the woods, blindly stumbling in what I hoped was the right direction. Eventually, I broke through the trees and found myself at the edge of my property, gasping for breath. I made it home that night, but I haven't been back to the forest since. I've told myself it was just my imagination, or maybe just a trick of the light. But something about that voice, something about the way the light moved. I know it wasn't just a random thing. I'm not going back to that forest. I don't care how quiet or peaceful it is during the day. I won't step foot in there again.